Hey guys, okay, so this is the script that I promised you, and it's fairly self-explanatory. So I'm just going to leave you to read this in your own time. Repetition is the key, and practicing it is the key to making it sound natural, and that's the most important thing, really. So although we want you to sound 100% natural and to be yourself, the script exists as a way to keep you on point. And if you practice it enough times, and it sounds natural, and you're also able to follow the flow and the structure of it, it's going to be a huge benefit for both you and the customer, because it'll keep both of you on point to what should be a natural conclusion. Either it's going to be a sale or not, and hopefully, using this structure, we can get to that answer quicker. Okay, so the first thing is establishing control, this bit here. In some of your calls, I've spoken to you guys about this as well. I just feel that um, maybe too much control is given to the customer at the start with questions like, what can I tell you about Clubber Size, or what do you know about Clubber Size, which are good questions to ask, but maybe a little bit later on in the script. In the beginning, it's important for us to grab the reins and to take control of the conversation. And this is what will help you to do that. And also, like I've spoken to some of you about, if the customer is not in a convenient situation at the moment, they could be, I don't know, they could be somewhere where they could be driving even, sorry, or queuing up to buy something. Do not hesitate and don't be afraid to pull it back, to take it away, and to schedule a better time when it's good for them, and so that you can have a relaxed conversation. Okay, this bit here is important, and I just want to explain why. We found that people who have seen the video first before speaking with us tend to be a little or a lot more excited or a lot more educated and informed about what Clubber Size could be like. So if they've come from Google PPC, it's very likely that they haven't seen the video yet. So just make a note, and ask them, if where they've come from. And if you work out that they haven't seen the video, make it a point to also send them this one here. So we provided you the link. This bit here, quite early on, is a very telling part. It's very, very important and vital to the structure of the script. This is where you are asking the customer exactly what their driver is. Driver is like what's their MO, what's their motivation, what's their pain, what's their challenge, or what's their goal, right? And I can't stress enough, you'll probably see this a lot in the script, whatever they say and whenever they're opening up to you, it's best to have a pen and paper handy or some form of way to record what they say, because you're not going to remember everything. And what they share with you, their driver, is going to be integral to the closing part of the script, but also in your follow-up email. So it really is important that you're making notes of what they say. And if they're happy to share what their driver is, which I've listened to your calls and you guys are very warm and friendly, so very often the customers actually volunteer their drivers. That's fine. We need to get them to elaborate and maybe even focus on exactly what it is about the driver that is important to them. So that's why this section here with these example questions that you could ask the customer gets them to expand or amplify their thoughts a lot more. Okay, and as I mentioned, make notes of what they say when they're opening up to you. Because after providing a very brief background, looking to emphasize those keywords that you feel will be important, you'll see it's emboldened the ones that we recommend that you could be emphasizing when you're describing it. The next bit is when you are using your own experience and your own intuition and your own understanding of Clubber Size's benefits, so that you're tailoring it to the exact driver that they mention. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Just to be clear, you're not meant to say all of this. You don't need to say all of this. These are just examples that, or idea starters, if you see what I mean. But the idea here is to be really polished and specific about linking the benefits of Club Resize directly to the exact driver or drivers that the customer mentioned. So if you go along the lines of Emma, you mentioned that making some extra money right now would be a big help to you. And yeah, with Club Resize, you can get profit on glow sticks and also sell the merch. So that's extra income right there, not to mention the classes, which we will help you to promote so that you can get lots of paying attendees, etc., 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 things like that. And every time that you've done the hard work of linking a benefit to a challenge or you've answered a question, okay, I've heard you guys answer questions brilliantly, really, really well. But very often there's like an empty space or a silence afterwards, okay? We want to replace that silence with what is a soft close, what we call a soft close. So you answer the question, you deal with the objection, or you provide the benefits to their challenge. Then we always ask, we punctuate it with a question. Emma, does that sound like it could be helpful to you? Or, phrase it the way you want, but always ask a soft close question. These bits here, just FYI, they're not meant to be read, word for word. These are just the necessary details. I've heard that in your calls, you need to gloss over these. I would just say be as brief as possible and only expand on the line items if the customer leads you to want more information about a specific something that you've said, okay? So all this stuff is self-explanatory again. Now this is where we top and tail it. We circle back at the end of this script to the driver and we just simply say, look, yeah, I know you mentioned you wanted to do something new with a new career, a new direction, and you also wanted to make some extra income. Club Resize can help with that, period. That's it. We literally just make a statement. It's a closing statement. And then we do the trial close. Always ask, this is a bit more of a firmer question. So would you like to come and join us? Or do you think you'd like to sign up? And the idea is that by the time that you get to this point here, the customer should not only genuinely feel reassured that you know what's important to them, because you do know. You've written it down, you've listened to them, you've described specific benefits to their actual goals, dreams, and their challenges, so that by the time you get to the trial close and ask this question, it's a very powerful position to be in that the customer should at this point be convinced that Club Resize could be the very thing that they need. Okay, self-explanatory stuff as well here, but always try to soft close and always try to trial closes, as you can see where I've put the blue prompts. And just one other thing, you'll see these asterisks wherever there's like a mention of a discount. As I have mentioned to you guys when I was speaking with you, it's absolutely fine to offer the discounts, but we shouldn't just be giving it away willy-nilly or at the very beginning of the script or the conversation. We should have it in reserve, in our back pocket, and offer it to the customer as an incentive in exchange for something they can also provide us, which is an early decision or to give us an answer by a certain date. Fair is fair, right? We play ball with them, they play ball with us. And if you set a specific date, be firm with that date. Setting a date as a deadline for a discount that we provide them also gives us a very genuine excuse, if you will, to follow up with them, to give them a call back before that date. Right? I hope that makes sense. It's a perfect reason to catch up with them again. Okay, guys, so I will leave this with you. Have a go, rehearse it, practice it, read it out, play the part of yourself and the customer. Have fun with it. If you have any questions, let me know, and do start implementing this structure sooner rather than later. And remember, you don't need to read this word for word, okay? What's most important is that you're following the flow and the order of it. Okay, look forward to hearing it in your next recorded calls and for those calls to go successfully for you. Okay, speak soon. Cheers.